Move back to the screen this time around, which is looking much more green than what it was all of last week. Nimesh, D-Street chatter. What's happening? Are there more people in the dealing rooms now?
Not really, Mangalam. So that's going to be the trend for the next few days. You know, the presence is going to only go down and down for the next few days from here. So what's happened in the market? You know, see, again, today's pullback has to be in the context of what happened last week, right?
Yes.
The market looked extremely oversold, and the oversold was largely because of margin calls getting triggered for the retail and HNI investors. It was not like the larger FIs or the DIs were net sellers. In fact, all of Thursday and Friday, when there was such a brutal sell-off, the FIs and DIs were net buyers in the market. So the dip was bought technically by the domestic investors. And what we saw, the sell-off was largely a panic from retail and HNI investors whole of last week. So today is a bit of a pullback from those oversold levels. Again, today the feedback is that the FI volumes will be on the lower side, but there is a bit of selective buying in by the domestic mutual funds. I guess the domestic mutual fund activity will also be because of a bit of support to the NAVs towards the year end. So I know that will also play out in many of the mid cap and small cap in the days to come. What we are seeing is a pullback in most of the oversold stocks and sectors. So the financials are pulling back. Most of the mid cap and small caps have done well into the state. So all was looking oversold on Friday. Now it's looking a bit of a bounce back from those oversold levels. But again, technically the next level to watch would be 18,200 on the upside. I think that's going to be a very strong resistance. So that's something to watch out. But if you ask me, are we out of the woods yet? I spoke to a lot of investors over the weekend, some technical experts as well, and the feedback is maybe you're not out of the woods yet. So on the downside, 17,800 is a very important level to watch. If that's taken out, you'll see a further sell-off on not only on the indices, but on the broader markets as well. So that's the overall feedback. But from a flow perspective, the FI flows have started muting out. And whatever you're seeing is a bit of domestic support, largely in the mid-cap and small cap.
You said we're not out of the woods yet. Well, turns out we aren't out of the woods yet. In fact, from the highs of the day, the Nifty has pulled back a good 70, 80 odd points, just barely holding on to that 18,000 mark on the index. The Nifty Bank 2 moments ago was trading over 1,000 points in terms of gains and now has curtailed its gains. In fact, HDFC Bank has corrected from the highs, HDFC Limited as well. We're seeing some bit of weakness from the highs on another heavyweight, Reliance as well. So a bunch of stocks actually selling off from the highs. The Nifty's just about holding on to that 18,000 mark. That's as far as the markets are concerned. Individual stocks, what do you have today for us?
So in terms of individual names, the first stock on my radar today is Dish TV. In the last 2 days, on Thursday and Friday, we saw a sharp sell-off on that stock as well. Marginally up in today's trade, but I believe in Dish TV, one of the leading lender is a seller in Dish TV. So that's the reason why you're seeing higher volumes for the last many days, and that's been the trend today as well. So that's the first one. The second stock is Adani Ports. Even last week there was a feedback that a couple of long-only FIs have started accumulating, and again today the feedback is there is a bit of buying back in that particular stock. So Adani Ports is seeing a bit of delivery volumes in the last many days, and some FI seems to be active around these levels. So that's the second one. And the last stock is Phenolix Cables. On a day like today, that stock is also buzzing in trade, good volumes as well, and I believe some bit of flows are back at the HNI desk in this particular stock. Remember, for Phenolix Cables and for Phenolix Industries, the big trigger is going to be the settlement between the families, and that's going to be a big trigger, which I guess markets are anticipating, which will come very soon, and hence that stock is focusing back. Again, focusing today's trade on behalf of volumes picking up at the HNI desk.
Okay, thank you very much for that.